Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Buster Show podcast. Today, we are all very lucky because we have Rachel Demita in on the show. Rachel, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
I said it before, but happy belated birthday again as of recording this. Um,
Thank
you
you.
know, I was gonna say as well, you had mentioned that you were just out on the boat for your birthday. Are you in Texas now, or where are you?
I am in Texas now. Yeah.
How do you
I am
like
in
it down
Texas
there?
now. I love it. For right now, I love it.
Why
When the
for right
pandemic
now?
hit, I don't know. I thought I would be in LA my entire life, because I love LA and I did love it for that time in my life. Now I'm loving it here in Texas. I feel like the pandemic changed a lot for me, but bought my first home here. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I feel like in the last 2 years, I've like grown up a little bit, if that makes sense.
That's
And
good.
I don't know, I'm enjoying the space, enjoying a new city. I feel like Austin isn't too much of like, it's still a big city. It's still hip and young and cool. So it wasn't, a huge culture shock, I guess, like leaving LA. I'm not going to a super small town or anything, but yeah, I'm loving it right now. So we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah,
But I'll be
Austin
back in LA a lot to visit for sure.
makes sense. Austin and Nashville were the two top locations people from New York went during the pandemic. I imagine similar for LA, but Austin's
Oh
great.
yeah.
I spent two or 3 months there in the last year. When the pandemic hit, I sort of did the reverse. I was in New York and then decided to spend a month in a different city every month.
Hmm.
And
Oh, cool.
and did Austin twice. It's a really
Okay.
great city. I remember when
Yeah.
well, I know the real estate there has been insane too. There's literally nothing left on the market. So very well done and opportune time.
Thank you. Oh, I feel like I hit it at the perfect time and I felt really impulsive when I pulled the trigger on this house, but if I wouldn't have done it then, I wouldn't have anything or the prices would have gone up. So, you know, I felt crazy when I did it, but I was like, "Oh, here we go." And now I'm just really happy with
Yeah,
my
it's one of
decision.
those things.
So,
You got to do it. I mean, if you're
yeah.
if you're able to, you know.
Yeah.
Does anybody like LA though? You said you liked LA. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever heard anybody say that before. I feel like you just put up with LA.
Who are you talking to then? I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I was there for 9 years, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I love the food. I'm vegan, so it's like
Got
perfect
it.
food city for me. Obviously, I love the weather and the nature there is beautiful, and for the time I was there, I had to be there for work. All of my meetings and most of my shoots and everything were there. And then obviously COVID changed a lot of that, where we're doing a lot of things remote and meetings that we would normally have in person, we're now doing via Zoom and we'll see how long that lasts or if like this is the new normal.
Right.
But um yeah, and I was okay living in a small space. I think because I was traveling a lot and because I had a lot of work there, um, the people are cool there. If you find your group in LA, you have to spend quite a bit of time there to find, your
That
people.
makes sense.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I love it, and I do miss some aspects. It's not the perfect place for me at this stage in my life, but yeah, I don't know.
No, that's good. So
Yeah.
what are you most excited about right now? Like when I say excitement, what are the things that come to your mind?
Uh, well, I just got off a call. It's like a lot of things I'm excited about. I don't want to say them right now
Fair
because
enough.
they're coming soon. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just got off of another Zoom call right before this. Um, I'm launching my own brand in the fall. And so that is it's such a new journey for me and we've been working on this since December of last year and I'm really excited about it and it's going to start with clothing and hopefully expand beyond that into um, gear and also some like sport specific skincare. So we are developing that right now, and I'm hoping October probably would be launch. Another thing that I'm excited about that I also had a meeting about today is I'm launching a custom flavor pre-workout with Genius brand. And
Cool.
that's coming soon. That's coming next month. And that's something else that we've been working on since last year. But we just got the flavor perfected. And it's my favorite formula of pre-workout. It's the only one that's like worked for me without making me like super jittery or not feel well. So I guess those are two things that are maybe unexpected that people wouldn't think I'd be getting into these spaces. But yeah, those are two projects that I'm
You,
excited about. And then a couple other things that I won't
that's
mention
awesome.
yet.
You seem
Thank
very
you.
very entrepreneurial focused, just based on the fact that two business related things are your answers.
I
That's
guess
the way
so.
to
It's
tell.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, it's new for me and I feel like I'm learning this whole process, especially launching your own brand. Like I feel really grateful to have found a good team to work with and they've launched other brands and they know this space and have kind of been, in the clothing streetwear space for a long time so I can learn from them, but it's a lot, but you never know if you can do it until you try, so the journey is fun. So yeah.
like anything. So
Yeah.
now, what did you think you were going to be when you were younger? Did you think that you were going to be launching, brands around your personal brand and pre-workout and all that? Did you think you were going to be a basketball player? What did you think, who did you think Rachel Demita was going to be?
I thought I was going to be a zoologist. Honestly. People know me personally know I love animals. I've always been obsessed with them. Like my biggest idol growing up was Steve Irwin.
Gotcha.
So I guess that's kind of a cross between like a television personality and somebody who just loves animals. But I think in high school that dream kind of shifted into being on television, being a TV personality. I never knew that the digital space would be what it is today.
Right.
So, and I mean, even in college, I went to school for broadcast journalism and performing arts, but I learned like the traditional TV way to do things. So, they told me I need to go to a local news market and kind of like work my way up. And that didn't sound fun to me. So I was like, I'm gonna maybe try something different. So I just moved to LA, got thrown into YouTube, got thrown into a bunch of different things, and then, here we are. So I think I definitely had more of a clear vision of what I thought I wanted when I was younger. But as I kind of evolve in this space and get older, I realize that you never know what could come tomorrow. And so I feel like I'm ready for what those opportunities are, but I'm open to, seeing how this landscape changes and then also just how my interests change.
Totally.
So,
No,
yeah.
it's funny because it was very similar for me, and I'm a little bit younger, but uh, when I was debating whether to go to college or not, I graduated high school 2 years ago, 23 years ago now, 2018. And
You graduated high school in
yeah, I'm
2018?
20.
Holy
So
Oh, wait, do you curse on your podcast?
you can say anything. It's on
Holy crap.
it's on my own network, so you can say whatever you
Yeah.
want. But uh, I had to make the decision because I thought I wanted to be in broadcasting, play-by-play broadcasting mostly. And
Hmm.
sort of similar to you, one of my heroes was David Attenborough, who does literally every nature documentary that everybody's ever seen. I don't know how he does
Yeah.
it, how he does them all. They're on like different networks, but he manages to. And,
Yeah.
some of the great play-by-play broadcasts like Mike Breen. And, the way that all those guys got to the position that they're in was similarly, you start broadcasting for baseball, minor leagues, you go from single A to double A to triple A, then you start doing college, then you start doing major leagues. But the difference is, unlike professional sports, there is no turnover. The same guy will have the same job for 60 years. And for you
True.
to get that job, they have to die. Like these
That's
guys
true.
will go until they're in their 90s if they're good at it. Right.
Right.
So I was looking at that and I was like, huh, doesn't really make any sense. Whereas if you go sort of the more social route, which is what you're talking about for what you did too, you're much better off. But I think also just like the natural shift of people wanting authenticity on social,
Mhm.
and the way that normal broadcasting and journalism is taught is in formalities. So you have to like sort of learn this new way to not be so formal, and it's a really interesting thing.
Oh, people used to go in on me on YouTube when I first started because I was on this show that was sponsored by Google, I think back in like 2012 or 13. And that was for me just getting out of college. And so I was like speaking the correct like broadcast way on this YouTube show. And in the comments, they're like, why does she talk like that? Like, why does she like his anger? And just like giving me such a hard time. And so I feel like it was a good and bad thing because I learned quickly how to be like, okay, I can still speak in a somewhat professional way and maybe not the same exact way I talk to my friends. Um, but I need to loosen up a little bit, you know? And so I
Yeah.
learned really quickly that that doesn't fly on YouTube or on any social platforms for that matter.
The only place it flies is places where there are no comment sections, where nobody can say anything, like the news.
True, true,
and and if
true.
it's like, feel like if the content has anything to do with you, it can't be formal. But if it's just like delivering information, then it's a little bit more acceptable to be formal.
Hmm.
But it's a really interesting thing. um,
Yeah.
that's funny that you wanted to be a zoologist, though. Why have you given up on those dreams entirely, or is that still a potential lane that you want to dive into in some way, shape, or form?
I think I've just shifted how I care for animals and how I help them. So in the past, probably like 7 years, I've gotten really into just promoting adoption because I've learned so much about how many animals live in shelters. And then my cat was in shelters for over 2 years before I adopted her. And I was volunteering a ton. I've volunteered in LA for about 4 years and then in Austin as well, just specifically with the cats because I'm such a cat person and I feel like I really understand them. I've studied them my whole life, have a soft spot for them. So I feel like I'm still helping animals. It's just like in my community and
Okay.
through my social networks. And then as well, like when I have done merch drops or even with my brand, having an element of giving back to different places where I feel like need it, and one of those being animal shelters or, you know, places that support that. So that's where I'm at now. But I would still love to travel and see wild animals in their natural elements. I would love to go to Africa. That's always been
Oh
on
my
my
god,
list.
that would be insane.
So, but yeah. So I guess just in a smaller way.
Those safaris scare me though, because the only videos you see on social media from them are like where the tiger's jumping on like this random tourist.
Right? Or it's like they're opening the door or there's the giraffe chasing the Jeep.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Even
Uh,
though I would be that person who would be like, "This is amazing."
until the very
I'd be,
last
like,
second.
crying, like, tears of joy, yeah, I was like, if I go out by getting attacked by a leopard or something and, like, that's the way I go out, it's pretty cool if you think about
I saw on the news the other day some dude
it.
was swallowed by a whale. Did you
Oh,
see that
wow.
news story? Yeah, he was
Mm.
swallowed accidentally. Whales are not, they don't eat humans, generally speaking.
Well, what kind of whale was it?
Think it was a humpback, and
Oh,
the dude
Jesus.
the dude just got caught in its mouth when it was just casually eating some plankton at the surface of the water, and he thought that he got bitten by a shark and that he died, but then he realized after a few seconds he was in the whale's mouth and then got spat back out, luckily, and survived. Crazy story. It was like a few
That's
days ago.
insane. Isn't that like in Pinocchio? Doesn't that happen?
It does. I think it does.
Yeah,
Made
okay.
out of a Disney movie. Yeah.
Wow, memory unlocked.
Wow, you really pulled that one out of the hat. That was good.
I think of it.
Um, yeah, I
Anyway,
would I would be okay with going that way from a blue. It would have to be a blue whale though, because they're the biggest animal on the planet. So I like things that are extreme. So I think that
I
would
don't
be
mess around with the ocean. That's a scary place.
really.
Yeah.
You're okay with
It's
like
very interesting to me, but I'm scared of the ocean, honestly.
I feel like that's a phobia that you can easily get over.
Eh, I don't know. Mm, I'm gonna stay here on land. See, I go in a lake once and I can't even talk 2 days later. So maybe I'm not meant for the water.
Well, that was you said water got in your ear. That
It got
doesn't have
in,
to do with
yeah,
like fish.
true. But I'm just saying, I guess I'm not meant to be like submerged in water. My body does not love it. Here we are.
Maybe.
I'll stay with the land mammals.
Fair enough. Um, I when I was in Austin, I think somehow I got water in my ear and I couldn't hear out of one ear for like 2 months. It's
Oh wow.
the most random thing ever. That's one of my memories from Austin. So from wanting to be a zoologist to then ending up as the 2K host, how where is the you played basketball obviously, and
Yes,
then
I did.
that opened up doors, I imagine, to being and obviously going to journalism school. That opened up doors to being a 2K host. Were you into video games before that?
Not really, honestly. I mean, I grew up playing video games, but I'm not an expert. Like they're fun, but I'm not a hardcore gamer. But I've always appreciated 2K. I mean, everybody knows about it. And then if you're in the basketball space, and then obviously working there came to appreciate it more. My skills never got better, but that's okay.
It's
I
okay.
had help from all the experts and I still suck at the game, but that's okay. But no, I mean, my story's kind of crazy and unexpected though, because obviously I played basketball since I was 10 and my goal was always to get a Division 1 scholarship and I did. I never wanted to play in the WNBA, but I wanted to play D1 and so got a full ride to Old Dominion, which at the time we were ranked I think 11th or 12th in the country. And so it was a big D1 school, but I guess kind of quickly realized, and I don't know if times have changed a little bit since when I was in college, but um, I really wasn't able to get the education that I wanted while still playing basketball and do the internships and different things that I wanted to do because I knew after college I wanted to go into my career. Like I didn't really, I guess, care how much better I got in basketball, which wasn't a great fit when you're in a Division 1 sport.
Right.
So I left after my first season, which probably to this day was the hardest decision I've ever made in my life was stepping away from basketball. And when I did step away, it was very heartbreaking to me because I felt like I lost my identity in a way. So I was like refinding myself. But for about 4 years after I quit, I did not touch a basketball. I couldn't watch basketball games. I had to almost do like this clean break. And so I went really hard into school, um, got a great education at American University, had a lot of internships, was working a lot, and kind of went into the entertainment space more so. And then I don't know what triggered it, but it was like a few years down the line, I got the itch to just shoot a basketball again. And like I said, it had been a solid 3.5, 4 years since I had touched a ball. And I went to this gym alone. It was the gym at my apartment complex and just shot around and I could still shoot. I was like, oh, not as bad as I thought I was. And then from there, there was like this Nike skills challenge in LA, basketball skills challenge. And I decided to enter it for whatever reason. And I ended up winning. And then from there, got to do a lot of stuff with Nike. And then that kind of opened the doors to me doing stuff with like Balls Life and Adidas because people were like, oh, who's this like girl who can play basketball and knows the game really well and is also a host. And so I was doing my own YouTube channel at the time. And then 2K kind of, I guess, saw my work somehow and reached out and was like, hey, we have this crazy idea to put a TV show in the game. Like, okay, sure. And then, I auditioned a couple times and ended up getting the job. And then, yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like my voice is cracking so much, but you can
You sound
understand why.
fine.
Okay. To me, it sounds like it. But, so yeah, so that's that story. I could have never, and that's why I say I always keep my options and opportunities open, because who knew that that would ever happen? An opportunity like that would ever come up. You can't, think about that when you're in college, like, oh, I bet you this video game is going to make a TV show. I'd be perfect for that.
Especially like
uh,
stuff that doesn't exist,
right,
like
right,
80% of the stuff that people are going to be watching in 5 years don't exist right now.
right. So, but yeah, I feel obviously like extremely grateful for that opportunity, and it was life changing. And it was a great stepping stone for me, and I learned a lot. And yeah.
You know where I think I first saw you, and it's an interesting connection to this person, but I saw you in a Casey Neistat video,
Oh
and
yeah.
and it's funny because Casey was one of the first people that inspired me not to go to college. So I was like, oh,
Oh.
this guy's pretty interesting. He's an example of somebody who also is super ahead of the curve on, social media and platforms, and applying a professional career to a digital career.
Mhm.
And that's just randomly where I first saw you, but that's super cool to hear that story.
Was it Casey's video where we were building a basketball hoop, or
I
we
think
did
so.
the Christmas video?
I think it was the first one.
The
Yeah.
basketball hoop? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I almost missed my flight because of that video. Took a
Really?
really long time. Yeah. Yeah, I was in New York, and at 368, right? Yeah, he
Yep.
wanted to build a basketball hoop. Proved to be a bit more difficult than we thought it was going to be, but that's what made the video fun.
Doesn't
So,
sound that complicated in theory, but I guess it is. I've never tried, so I wouldn't know.
well, I think we ended up like hanging it on the wall, but then also obviously when you're shooting, you need a little bit of space like between the ceiling and those types of things. And I don't know. It was really fun though. But yeah, no, Casey's awesome. I feel I forget if he reached out to me or I reached out to him, but I had always been a fan of his videos, and just even the way that he carries himself, because he's one of those creators that doesn't, I mean, I even act like an influencer creator sometimes, where I do the cookie cutter things that I know will work. He's always just like been genuinely himself, and people gravitate towards it. And he's just super creative on top of that. So yeah, I've always really respected his work.
Totally. Super authentic dude.
Hmm.
Um, he loves the ocean.
He does. He came to gymnastics with me once as well in LA, because he used to have a standing back tuck. He's like, I want to tumble again. So him and Candace came. She wasn't a huge fan of gymnastics class, but we had a good time.
I was looking at your Twitter before we did this, and I saw you learned how to do a backflip. Is that true?
So I learned how to do a standing back tuck. I've been able to tumble and do like round off back handspring back tuck, round off layout, a lot of things, but standing for me has been a really hard skill to learn, and it's been a huge mental block. So yes, I finally got it last week.
Is it all mental? Like if I'm in like
Uh,
fine athletic shape and I want to learn how to do a backflip, is it possible? Is it mostly mental? What do you think?
no, it's a lot of technique, I think, that people don't realize. And I did gymnastics when I was young for a couple years before I played basketball. So I had like the tiniest bit of muscle memory when it came to tumbling. So if you watch those videos, like I'm not scared at all for some reason, even though those tricks seem harder than just a standing back tuck. But yeah, standing back tuck, there's just a technique, and then I don't know.
What's the difference
You
between
could definitely
a back tuck and a back flip?
I guess back tuck is just more like a gymnastics term.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
So
Thank
a back tuck is when you tuck, like you back flip, but you bring your knees into like a tuck position. There's different types of back flips. Like a layout is you do a back flip, but your body's kind of in a straight line. A back pike is a back flip, but your legs are straight and you're like folded over. I don't know. I love gymnastics, so
Yeah, gymnastics are great. Got the
but
Summer Olympics coming up too. Whew,
yes,
gonna be
I'm excited
everywhere.
for that.
I
I'm
have to
excited for
imagine that
that.
after the Summer Olympics every for this year, 5 years, the interest in learning how to do gymnastics from normal people spikes like crazy.
That's something else though, honestly, that I miss about Los Angeles is there were so many different gyms that I could go to that offered like adult gymnastics classes or adult open gym. And in Texas, I'm just finding a hard time finding those gyms. But
Doesn't seem like a Texas thing.
well, it gymnastics is a Texas thing for kids competing. Like it's a huge gymnastics state, but I feel like in LA there it's more so because there's a lot of like stunt people and people who need gymnastic skills like for their work. Not as much here, I guess.
That makes sense.
But yeah.
Makes sense. If you could collaborate with anybody from human history on a content piece, who would you want to collaborate with?
Oh my gosh, on a content piece?
And what would you want to do with them? You can pick anybody going historically back 2,000 years.
Could pick anybody. Oh my gosh, could we say Steve Irwin? Geez,
Yeah,
that would
of
be really
course.
fun.
Of course.
Honestly, even his daughter, like I follow Bindi on social media, like I still follow his whole family. Their energy is just so contagious. So I feel like that's one that would be really, really, really fun for me. I feel like probably a lot of people would say this, but Will Smith would also be fun. He like picked it up quick.
Social
Will Smith
media.
was not on social and now he's just like making the coolest, funniest videos
He has
and
a
just
good
took over, you know?
he has a team around him.
Still, but yeah, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Come on. Um, yeah, those would be two that would be really fun. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I like looked up to even when I was younger.
I've seen Steve Irwin's son on when he'll go on like Jimmy Kimmel and show off animals. I've
Yeah,
I've watched those before. Pretty
yeah,
great. Yeah.
super fun. Trying to think of somebody even like in the basketball space that would be. I mean, I've worked with some incredible basketball players and even like legends. So even like I've done multiple videos with Shaq. So even to like say that I've done that is kind of cool. We used to do, did you ever see the videos that we used to do where I would slap him in the head?
I have not
It's a,
seen that.
we've done
You
it a
used to
couple
slap
times.
Shaq in the head.
So he made me. So I think the first time we were filming something with 2K and I wanted to do like a funny something. I was like, what video could we do? Like something funny. He's like, slap me across the face. I'm like, I can't do that. Like I physically cannot slap you across the face. So like, okay, well, like slap the back of my head. I'll act like I'm sleeping and just like slap me. I'm like, okay. I felt so bad doing it, but we kind of like staged it and like hit him on top of the head or whatever. And then he woke up and he's a great actor. And then we did it another time at um he coaches a celebrity basketball game that I play in every year. We didn't have it the past 2 years because of COVID, but they actually rescheduled it for this year in September, I believe, and we're having it in Atlanta this year, but
Nice.
he's always my coach. And so one year I like ran back and slapped him on the back of the head and there were fans even like filming while we did it and people were like, "Oh my god." And I got so much shit because people were like, "Why did you slap him?"
Really?
Yeah, and it's so playful, but obviously we make it. I guess I just told our secret, but yeah, we haven't
That's
made one of
funny.
those videos. Maybe we'll have to do it again this year.
That's the first I've heard of that. I have personally not yet slapped Shaq in the head, but
It's better than slap. I was like, I cannot slap you across the face. Like no, I can't do that. He's like, just do it. Come on. And I like tapped his cheek. He's like, no, no, no. Slap me.
Talk about a
But
guy who has mastered personal branding and being able
oh
to
my
turn that
God.
into an entrepreneurial empire. I mean, there's nobody, I mean, like him, Magic Johnson, and Jordan are like the gold standards in terms of retired NBA guys who have been able to
Yeah.
leverage their, you know, fame for entrepreneurial legacy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Magic was really cool when I met him as well. Like just the sweetest guy. And he met my parents too.
That's
And
nice.
they were like super excited. Yeah, he was at one of the games that I played in. I mean, we can't say that without talking about Kobe as well. Um, just and even just knowing how much he had on the horizon before he passed is like, yeah,
Well,
it sucks.
he had one of the best deals that any athlete has ever done. He put,
Oh yeah.
I don't remember, I think it was 5 million into body armor at the very beginning.
Mm,
And my buddy Darren Ravel, who's been on the show too, he was the one who introduced Kobe to body armor, and
hmm
I think it was a 5%. I don't remember what the equity stake was, but it turned out to be worth $500 million, and that was
Right,
something that he did within 3 years of being retired.
right,
I mean,
right.
he would have been. I mean, who knows? But he would have probably, knowing the way that he did everything else, he would have been the best as far as being a post career athlete entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think LeBron's heading down a similar path too. Um, we talked about it on a recent episode. He bought into Fenway Sports Group, which
hmm
owns soccer teams, the Red Sox, and the reason that my friend, his name is Joe Pompliano, who's a sports business reporter who's on, said that LeBron bought in was to get ready for post career when Fenway Sports Group buys an NBA team. So
Mm, right.
I'll see, but it makes sense. It makes
It
sense. That's
totally
the next
makes
step.
sense. Yeah. I mean that and going back to Kobe too, probably one of the most just like charismatic people I've ever met. Just like the energy that surrounds him, it's crazy. It was just insane, like just unmatched with anybody I feel like I've ever met. And just warm and like super passionate and nice. And I've obviously interviewed a ton of people, but I feel super blessed that I was able to like work with him, you
That's
know,
awesome.
before he passed. It still kind of seems surreal to me sometimes that he's not here. I don't know.
Especially because right after COVID hit and the whole world shut down. So it's like,
Yeah.
you blinked
We
in
can't
2 years.
survive without you, Kobe. Where
And
are you?
low key, low
Yeah.
key. Now,
Anyway.
if you were to go back and give yourself some advice, just starting out in the influencer slash basketball slash entrepreneurial space, what would you be telling your younger self and anybody else in that position?
Uh, honestly, for myself, I would probably just remind myself to appreciate the moments that I have. Um, because I'm one of those people who's always go, go, go. Like, what's next? I could be doing better. I could be doing more. And I look back sometimes, I'm like, wow, you're doing a great job, you know? And I don't tell myself that enough, I feel like. Or yeah, so I'm just always pushing myself, but I mean, I've done so much, I've traveled so much, I've met so many incredible people that like 99% of this world doesn't get to do. And so, I mean, that would be my personal advice to myself is just, appreciate it because you never know what's coming next, in life, in your career, and whatever that may be. So that would be advice I give to myself. Advice that I give to others who might be just starting out is to be you. And because especially in this day and age, you can't get by on some sort of persona of somebody that you're not. You can only make it so far. And with the internet now, with the way that people are consuming media, they can see straight through it. So if you are goofy, be goofy. If you know, if you wear different clothes than most people, then like rock your style. And that's just something where I've never been like the coolest person. I've never spoken the most eloquently. I'm awkward sometimes, but it works. And I get to just be myself. And I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. And I feel like I'm rambling, but yeah, that's the advice I would give to somebody just starting out. And also just do something that you're passionate about. I've never been on a TV show talking about something that I didn't enjoy or I didn't understand. And I think that that's where people run into problems too, like when they're hosting. You can see straight through it, people on different networks who are talking about sports who have maybe never played a sport or barely watch it. You're like, you don't really know what you're talking about, you know? So pick what it is that you enjoy and go for it.
Yeah, it's also, I think, a matter, no, those are all great answers. And I think it's
Mhm.
also a matter of, you know, if you're not excited or passionate about the thing, you're not going to put the extra time in and you're not going to get
Yeah,
any result from it. You know, it's like,
definitely.
that's true with everything though. And that's why you got to like, even I think for fitness, and I'm sure you can attest to this too, you got to find those things that you enjoy doing so that you do them on the days you don't want to do them. And it's not as bad as, you know,
Definitely.
like if you don't like to run, you don't have to run, you know. Like you can do other
Yeah.
things to make sure you stay healthy, you know, do gymnastics or like play basketball or do all these things.
That's always been my advice for people who want to get in shape or like how do you stay motivated to go to the gym is like I actually enjoy my workouts and I have performance goals, which I think are better than having just like aesthetic goals. For me personally, like me being an athlete my whole life, like my goal is to get a standing back tuck. What kind of exercises do I need to do to get my standing back tuck? It has nothing to do with me making my physique look a certain way because I know at the end of the day, I'm going to be more fulfilled doing a backflip than, you know,
Yeah,
having a six pack.
I think physical goals are toxic as hell, you know. Like I think it's dangerous because that's social
Mhm.
media pushes that as well. It's fine if it's just you, but I
Right.
feel like people don't do that for them. They do it
No.
to appear a certain way, whereas health is by default only for you, right?
Yeah.
And it just makes you happier later, more energetic, you'll get more done. And then the byproducts of being healthy are better than the byproducts of looking the way that you think you want to look so that other people think a certain way about you. It's so convoluted.
100%.
It makes no sense. It makes no
What do
sense.
you do to work out or
What do
how
I
do
do?
you yeah, what do you like doing?
Run and play basketball. Yeah, and
Yeah.
lift weights. Those are the three. And then, you know, random stuff like swimming in the summer here in Connecticut and whenever I'm traveling. Yeah, I
Wake
just
surfing?
do what? What now?
Wake surfing? Have you tried it?
Haven't done that. You know, I'm so terrified of extreme sports. I'll tell a story too. When I was in Austin, and this isn't even extreme sport. You know how there are birds everywhere, like the scooters?
Oh, yeah.
I was
I
riding.
thought you meant like flying
No, no, no,
birds.
no, no, not those. There are lots of them too, though. I actually
Oh.
saw sea turtles in Austin. I was in Austin when it was snowing.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
like I was there for a month, and that was right in the middle. And I was like, all right, time to leave Austin.
That was miserable. I was stuck in my house for 7 days.
That was insane. I literally had a before and after picture on my Instagram of like the same location, like 95 degrees, and then covered in snow.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was staying in an Airbnb slash hotel next to a supermarket. You couldn't even get food. It was the craziest apocalyptic thing ever.
Oh, yeah. We lost our mind. I was glad I had Daisy with me. I would just
Is that who is that?
That's my cat, sorry.
Oh.
Yes. But anyway, your bird story, what
Oh
happened?
yeah, so I'm going down. I forget the name of the avenue, but heading downtown to Austin, and I just hit a pothole and went flying. And I was like,
Oh no.
this is why I don't skateboard. This is why I don't ski. This is why I don't do anything, because I'm going like 6 miles an hour on this thing, and I go flying, and I'm like, all right. So I vowed never to ride those things again. Now, and I would, that, and then and I'll never do any of that surfing and all that. Surfing I would do, but not like kite surf. Nothing where I'm not on the ground and have control of my body.
You would do surfing in the ocean and you wouldn't do wake surfing in a lake. That doesn't make any sense at
Wake
all.
surfing. Oh, that's what you said. I thought in my head, I
Yes.
thought it was like kite, something on the kite.
Oh no.
Yeah,
No, wake
I would do
surfing where
wake
you like,
surfing. I would do
okay,
wake
okay.
surfing. Yeah.
I was gonna say surfing
Tubing
in the
is the
ocean is
most
dangerous.
fun.
That's more dangerous than wake surfing.
Tubing
Yes, because you
is
get
more
thrown
dangerous
off
than,
of it.
come on.
100%.
You just fly you 3 feet into the water.
No, when you fall on wake surfing, it's not like a hard like slam into the water type of situation. You just let go
Because
of
you
the
don't
rope
get
and then
thrown, right?
yes.
That
On
makes
that
sense.
tube, you just get thrown off. Your like shoulders get pulled out of place. I mean, it's
You
fun, don't get me wrong,
you make
but
a very compelling argument. I think I now agree with you.
you have to try it.
I will. So where can people find the stuff that you're working on best? I imagine mostly through social.
Yeah, I would say for right now, follow my social. So at RA Demita. So that's literally all my social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Um, and yeah, I'll have some announcements soon. There's 2 TV shows that we're working on right now, so keep your fingers crossed that those pan out because that would be really exciting for me. But yeah, we're keeping it moving. The pre-workout will probably be my most recent announcement coming up. So July. Be ready.
Very cool. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for doing this. This is super fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy, but
Again, if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have noticed.
cool. Keep it that
Well,
way. You can cut that part out.
all right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Peace.